Okay, friends, here I am again. This is a walk around tour of the update on my gardens. This, I think, is my biggest garden. I've got 6 cabbages here, and I have 10 more cabbages in other gardens for a total of 16. And the reason I grew so much this year is I am going to make sauerkraut and then home can it, so I can have sauerkraut all next year, providing I am still here and the rapture hasn't happened. I did have radishes all the way across the end right here, and there's still 1, 2, 3, 4. Looks like this one is ready. See that baby there? That's actually a little smaller than most of them I've been picking, but it's edible. Right down the middle here is my beets. I have 4 12-foot rows of beets. They kind of got flattened this morning when I watered them. Over here I've got 2 rows of cucumbers, and some of them are finally getting tall enough that they're starting to climb up this trellis I built for them. I've got 24 row of cucumbers here. Well, there's a few missing, one missing there and one there and one there, and looks like a couple there and one at the end. And then I've got another 8 foot over in another garden. I'm going to be making a lot of bread and butter pickles and a lot of kosher dill pickle spears. All of these are my cherry tomatoes. I've got it was 12, but one of them died, so I guess I got 11 now. And I just noticed this morning I've got a fire ant hill right there I got to take care of. But these cherry tomatoes are starting to bloom right in there. Can you see it? I can't see it in the camera. Right there you go. And there's some more blooms I saw earlier, but there's some right in there. Some of these, 2 of these, this one here and the one at the end, were left over from springtime. That one's put out new growth, so I'm hoping it's going to keep on going. This is one that I propagated from a mortgage lifter tomato over in a different garden, and so is that one right there, and it looks like tomato worm or something has stripped all the leaves off of it. So I need to keep my eye on that and take care of that booger. All right, let's walk over to this garden. Well, I said I'd not point the camera at the ground, and there I was pointing the camera at the ground. All right, right here next to this trellis is 2 more rows of cucumbers. They were planted a couple of weeks later than the others, and so they're not quite to the point that the others are. Right in here is some more radishes I've planted. And right across this edge here is some more radishes I planted. These are all my white onions, all in there. These are 4 summer tomatoes, and I got several that's starting to starting to ripen there. I harvested 3 yesterday and ate one of them on a bologna sandwich last night, and it was delicious. And right in here I've got some potatoes planted from my potato crop last year. Some that had some eyes on it, I cut the eyes out and planted them, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Looks like 12 of them up right now. Right in the middle there, that little spot, I have 6 garlic planted there, and they're up about 3 to 4 inches. These tall tomatoes here were left over from springtime. The 2 right here on the end are mortgage lifter. The 2 in the middle are beefsteak, and the two on the end, well, it's one on the end now, one of them died, but the one on the end is a phoenix. And right here is my shallots. Some of them never came up, but most of them did. Now let's mosey around the corner here. Well, let me get you off the ground again. These are purple onions right in here, and they're doing good. I ran out and had to buy more somewhere else, and they were hard to find. I had a hard time finding them, but I finally did find them, and I had to buy a box of 100 bulbs. So I finished up this plot here, and they're coming along doing good. That's the ones right here, these 3 rows here on the end, and they're doing good. I just see, looks like only one of them didn't come up. My habaneros are going bonkers on me. I love them. I eat them. I make salsa out of them. And I need to pick these and vacuum seal them and chunk them in the freezer. That's another habanero plant right there. Now, before we head up front, I want to take you back to my hugelkultur garden and show you what I've got going on there. I told you in my previous video that is uploading right now that I planted my leftover red onions there, and they have come up and they're looking good. So I'm going to have a lot of red onions in the springtime. That form I built around that tree to make a bed is still sitting there. It's not big enough to go around the big roots on that tree, so I got to take one end of it off and move it somewhere else, and I've got a plan for it, because over here I've got my 2 gingers still right there. Actually, it's like 10 gingers, but 2 pots with a lot of ginger growing in it. I want to put them in the ground, and after all, I'll walk out back and show you some more stuff I want to put in it, but I've got to put it somewhere else. It won't work around that tree. This is my hugelkultur, and can you see the onions in it? Right there, right there, right down here, right there, right there, and right there, and right there, and there, and there, and there, right there, and right there, and right there, and that's all I see. And I finished a watermelon this morning, and I'm going to take the watermelon seeds, or going to take 4 of the watermelon seeds and plant them on the other side. I got to get that straw out of the way, but I'm going to plant them on the other side and train them to grow on the other side. Now let's walk out back. All these pallets I collected for a purpose, and that purpose has changed. I am going to build a 12-foot by 60-foot greenhouse, and most of these pallets are 36 inches wide and 48 inches long, and that's the size I want. The 48-inch side will be the bottom wall around that greenhouse, and it's going to be in this open area right here between that tree right there and that tree right there. That area gets quite a bit of sun. I used to have a huge in-ground garden out there. I can't remember the dimensions on it. It was 80 feet long, I remember that, and I think like 30 feet wide or something. I can't remember for sure, but it was a big garden. So I know it's good for a greenhouse. but from the pallet base around the sides, I will build up from that with 2x4s, and if I can find the fiberglass, the corrugated fiberglass, I'll use that, but I don't even know if it's available anymore. Let me show you something else. Oh, it's gone. Right there was a wasp nest. See right there? I can't see it. Maybe you can. But anyway, all the wasps are gone off of it. I guess they had their babies and left. Right here is the rosemary that I had in the last garden before the hugelkultur garden. I had to get it out of the garden because I learned after I planted it, actually a friend planted it, that it grows to be like 3 to 4 feet high and 3 to 4 feet in diameter. And I didn't have that much space in that garden for something that big, so I stuck it in this big pot. I've got to get it in the ground, so I'm thinking about doing a garden for my rosemary and for my, what you call it, what did I just tell you? Oh, the ginger. These are the trees that I propagated last winter. I took cuttings in December of 2019, so these were still growing on the tree a year ago. And the cuttings I took were 3 to 4 inches long. And some of these, this row here is figs. They were 3 to 4 inches long when I took the cuttings, and they're now 4 feet tall, except for this one. This one was dug up by pigs 2 times and by deer 1 time. It's still alive. It's got a new shoot on the top, and it's got 1 leaf. So I'm hoping it'll be okay and live and grow. But look at all these others. They're doing good. It's amazing how a tree can grow from a 3 to 4 inch long cutting to as big as these are in just 11 months. But they're doing great. And over here is my pomegranates that I took cuttings last December from 2 pomegranate trees I had. This one and the next one from the newest pomegranate tree I've got. And they also were 3 to 4 inch long cuttings. This one here is about 3 feet tall. That one is about 18 inches. This one was dug up. This one was broken half by a deer. And I didn't think it would survive, but it did, and it's looking pretty healthy now. But it's only about 18 inches now. And this one here is about 18. No, this one's 3 feet here. All right, now let's mosey over to another area. And that boat trailer there, a friend gave me that. I'm going to turn it into a utility trailer. I got my pickup, and I can do a lot of hauling in my pickup. But often there's stuff longer than my 6.5 foot pickup bed can carry, so a utility trailer will be nice. I used to have a 18 foot dual axle utility trailer, and it was awesome. But I got so crippled up, and I got cancer, and I really didn't know if I could ever do any gardening again. So I sold I had a big SUV at the time. Sold the big SUV, sold the utility trailer, and bought a car. And that car was totally useless. It was a nice car. It's a nice, luxurious car. Very comfortable. Had all the bells and whistles. But I had no use for a car. By faith, my cancer was healed. I got my strength back. I put my walker in storage. And now I'm gardening again. This is the one that I've showed y'all a couple of times that is a volunteer plant. And this bed, at the end of summer, I had squash planted in it. And so when it first came up, I thought it was a squash. But the leaves didn't look like squash. So I did a snap app, or whatever it's called, snap pic. Anyway, you take a picture of whatever you are questioning and it will tell you what the plant is. And that app told me it was a cantaloupe. I have never planted cantaloupe out here. I have not bought a cantaloupe in the store in 2 or 3 or 4 years. So I don't know where this seed comes from, but look, see that? I have baby cantaloupes, or whatever it is, all over the place. And it's kind of going crazy, growing everywhere. Here I've got 4 broccoli plants up front there. In the middle I've got 3 eggplants. Over here I've got 3 green cabbage and 2 purple cabbage. And then back in that corner there I've got another green cabbage. That's a jalapeno pepper plant there. That's another one, and they're still producing. These 2 are bell pepper plants, and they're still producing. This one has never done very good, and I don't know why. It's kind of like my habanero plants. One of them produces abundantly. The other one is still alive and producing. It just doesn't produce like the other one. That one there has produced abundantly, but now it's slowing down, and it looks wilted, but I water them every day, so I'm not sure what's wrong with it. But it sure looks wilted. Oh, there's a bell pepper right there, and there's another one right below it. This one here hadn't got diddly on it. I took my butterfly bush that actually it's 3 of them that I propagated from cuttings last year. Again, 3 to 4 inch long cuttings, and look how tall it is now. I finally planted it, and it's over 4 feet tall now. I intended to separate them and have them planted in 3 different places, but it's getting close to time to propagate again, so I just stuck them all out in the same place, and I'll take my cuttings from there and make a bunch more. And y'all, I don't know about you, but I have not given up on the presidential election yet. Look at the back of my pickup there. I'm still flying the American flag, and I'm still flying the Trump 2020 flag. Keep America great. And I pray like I've never prayed before that that election mess gets straightened out and Trump is victorious again. I have started cleaning out my shipping container over there. It had never been cleaned out since the flood, and it was a mess. Getting that stuff out was just nasty. Some stuff in there had water in it that's over 3 years old, and it was stagnant and soured, and it stunk, and I got it all over me. There's my lone persimmon crop, and I don't even like persimmon, but I got 4 persimmon trees. But anyway, let me show you the inside there a minute. A big limb off that pecan tree there fell on top of this container 4 or 5 years ago and put a big dent in the roof. And that dent held water. And down here on the Gulf Coast with the salty sea nearby, it rusted. Everything rusts here. So look up there. I've got a big hole in the roof now. See that? It just rusted through. So I am going to build a house type roof to put over this thing. And behind it used to be a patio. And I'm going to extend the roof out over that patio and clean it up and make it a patio again. All that lumber there that I had stacked up on a stand went crashing to the ground several months ago. So I'm in a process now of moving it into the shipping container, because it's good lumber. It's all pressure treated lumber. Here's my other garden bed. Remember the cactus that I dug up out of the #2 garden over there? Here they are. 2 pots of them there, and 2 pots of them right there. And my roses are looking beautiful. And my chrysanthemums or marigolds or whatever those are is looking beautiful. That little cabbage that I keep showing you is finally starting to grow, but he is way behind these others. These are all doing great, but at least he is trying now. He's going to be all right, I think. Now let's walk around to the front and I'll show you the rest of my radishes. I picked a bunch out of here this morning, and while I was cleaning them, I ate half of them. I think I picked 10, and I ate 5 or 6 while I was cleaning them. They have got some spice to them. See them down in there? I got a lot of radishes, and I need to get some more planted for when that next batch is done. I'll still have radishes to harvest. So I reckon that's it for my walk around. My 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 other roses. I thought I had 8. Let me recount. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I've got 8 more that I want to put in a bed somewhere. And right now I'm thinking, because they're scattered all over the yard, right now I'm thinking I'm going to put one parallel to the sidewalk there, and like from one end of the sidewalk to the other. I used to see I've still got a lot of mess to clean up in my yard from the flood. I had a big mess right here where that grass is dead. I finally got it all dealt with and that grass mowed, so now I can let my good grass cover that spot again. And these 2x12s here, and one that's buried underneath all of that wood there, plus one that's in the shipping container over there, I'm going to put together and have another big raised garden bed. But I still got all this mess to clean up, and most of it's going to go in the burn pile. Probably all of it's going to go in the burn pile except the plastic. I'll have to put it out in my trash pickup a little at a time. But that desk, which I had bought just before the flood, it was a L-shaped desk. That was one part of it there, and right here is the other part. I had bought it just before the flood and I never put it together, and it just totally came apart. That was a bar I had, and you can see how it's buckling on top and how it's coming apart. All of that needs to go in the burn pile. But I reckon that's it for now, y'all. Hope you enjoy. Oh, that's a bunch of trash that I got to get hauled off. Just pure trash. Nothing but trash. That's my $6,000 or $7,000 generator that I had bought just before the flood that got ruined. This was an old antique ham radio there. I was not a ham radio operator, but I could sit and listen to people all over the world talking, and I really enjoyed that. But it's gone. Even though it was up high, it did not get flooded. During the flood, the crew that put everything out of the house put it on the ground, covered up, and it rained here for like a year after the hurricane. So it got flooded sitting in my front yard, and I didn't know where it was at. And it's weird that a lot of my stuff that was up high has just flat disappeared. And I know it didn't get hurt, and it's not out here in the yard anywhere because I've looked for it. I did catch looters out here 7 times, and I'm sure they were here more that I didn't know about, so I think all my good stuff got stolen. I had a collection of silver 1-ounce silver ingots that I had been collecting a few each payday for years. I had a lot of them. They were up high in a box all by themselves. Them nor the box it was in has been seen. So I'm sure somebody got a bunch of silver ingots for free. I had thousands of dollars worth of silver ingots. That greenhouse next door that was for sale for a year finally sold to an investor, which I'm not happy about because he will probably make it into a rent house, which I'm not happy about. I just hope they're not rowdy and rambunctious because I enjoy my peace and quiet out here a lot. Okay, y'all, this video is way longer than I intended. I may have to run into town to get it uploaded because it'll take a week for it to upload out here as slow as my internet is. What was I going to say? I don't even remember. But anyway, I've taken you around, showed you the good, the bad, and the ugly of this place. It is looking a whole lot better, but it's going to take me the rest of my life to get it back the way it was. I've got a lot of plans, a lot of projects, and slowly but surely I'm plucking away at them till they're all going to get done, maybe. Well, I'm ready for the rapture, so they may not get done, but I'll work on them till I am raptured out of here. Gives me something to do, keeps me out of trouble. Oh, I was going to tell you, my pickup up front that I showed you with the American flag and the Trump flag hasn't been moved in 1 week today. Hadn't been started in 1 week today. Last Tuesday, I was at one of the polling locations from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And then after it was over, I went to a watch party, a Republican watch party, up near Houston until after midnight. And I came home with the flags in the back the whole time during the 12 plus hours at the polling location and the 4 hours, I guess, once I got over there, 4 plus hours at the watch party. Came home and parked it, and then the next day a friend called and wanted to go out to dinner, so I went out to dinner in a neighboring little town, came home and parked it, and it hadn't been moved since. So the flags are still there. They got ragged doing all the driving around I did, so I need to get new ones, which I will sometime when I go into town. But I kind of like having them there. It reminds everybody where my heart and mind is as far as this country goes. And y'all always, always, always keep President Trump in your prayers. He needs our prayers more than anything else we can do for him. He is the only person, the only president that has taken on the cabal and not been shot or assassinated. And I have read several different sources that in addition to the Secret Service, which gives him protection, he has also spent millions of his own money for protection. I know there are a lot of people out there that wants him dead. Some have even said it on videotapes. So y'all keep our president in your prayers all the time. And I think that's it for now. I'm right at 30 minutes, and I never intended a video to be this long. I'll talk to y'all later. Love you. Subscribe to my channel. Give me some comments. Let's talk. Take care, friends.